Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make my new lacy square. I've not really got a name in mind other than Queen Anne lace, because it reminds me of Queen Anne lace, but there's not really anything else that I can call it. So I've been making this with some of the DK Finesse cotton silk. Now it says that it is a 3 weight, but it is quite thin, and they have some lovely colours. They've got the white and a mauve, a lovely blue and a pale pink, and it is really lovely and soft. So I've worked with this before and I love this yarn, so I ordered some more, and it's 77% cotton and 23% silk. It's absolutely soft, but as I said to you, it's quite a thin DK, on the thinner side. So as it is, I am using a 3.5mm crochet hook, and this is a tulip Etimo. I'm using these at the moment because I'm going to trial them. You'll also need some darning needles and a pair of scissors. If you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. You'll be informed when there are new videos, and there are always videos being uploaded. There's a vlog chat and live streams, as well as tutorials. I do quite a lot of tutorials, left and right handed. So how we start this is with a slip knot, so you can do that however you normally would, and just make sure you do your slip knot. Pull it nice and tight there, but you've got enough room on your hook for your chain. So now we need a chain of 6, and to do a chain, it's yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook, and yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. So that's 2, and we need 6. Once we've done 6, we're just going to join it into a ring. So we put our hook into the very first one and yarn over and pull through both those loops. So now we've got our little ring. Now I'm going to work over this tail at the same time. So I'm going to do a chain, but I don't want that chain to be tall. I'm going to cinch it down so that only the stitches show. And what we're going to do now rather is 12 UK double crochets, which is a US single. So we're going to have 12 of them in this ring. So we're going to insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. So there are 2 on our hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through both of them, and that's our stitch. So we're going to do that one more time. Into the ring, yarn over and pull up that loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's 2. So we need 12, and the simple little stitch into the loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'm going to pause the video, and once I've completed 12, I'll come back to you. When you get to the end, you may have to pull it over slightly to see a little bit more space to put your stitches, because it does get a little bit tight in the ring. So I'm going to carry on until I've got 12, and I'll come back to you then. Okay, so I'm all the way back, and I just need now to complete the ring by doing a slip stitch into my very first stitch, and that's just yarn over and pull through both loops. So there we are, we have now completed the ring, and in this particular round we're just making this little bit that looks like a wheel. And to do that, if you've seen my other, I'm going to snip that off, by the way, just because it gets in the way a little bit. If you've seen some of my other squares, a lot of them start this way. I seem to be a fan of it, don't I? So to do that, we chain 3. Now if you've watched me before, you'll know that for my UK treble or US double, I always chain 2. So to do 3 means that there is a space between. So then in each and every one of these stitches, we're going to do our UK treble or US double, which is yarn over and then into the stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do a chain, and then we're going to do that again. Yarn over into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. You've got 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and 1 chain. So we're making these little gaps, and we're going to do that in every single stitch all the way around, just like so. Do you know, I hate it when people say that. I don't know why I said it. I don't know why. It's one of my big bugbears when people say like so. And there I was doing it. So this is how it's going to look. I'm going to pause the video and I will catch up with you when we get all the way around the other side. We'll still have 12 stitches, but we'll also have 12 chain spaces. So you know what I mean. So that'll be total of 24 stitches, because we have a treble crochet and a chain. Okay, so I've made it all the way back, and of course I finish on my 1 chain, and now I need to slip stitch into my second chain of my 3, so that the 3rd chain is my space. So there we are, and now that's how it will look. So what I need to do next is to slip stitch into this gap, so that it we're actually in the space rather than in this post. Now I'm going to chain 2, which gets me to the height of my UK treble or US double. Now if you have particularly long stitches, you might want to do 3, but I always find when patterns tell me to do 3, it just curves too much, it's too tall, and I only need 2. So in this round we're going to put 3 treble crochets, 3 UK trebles, US doubles in each of these spaces, and this 2 chain is going to count as 1. So we need 2 in this one, just like this. So sorry, I should have shown you. Yarn over into the gap, yarn over and pull up a loop. You have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So there's my 3. I'm going to do 1 chain between them, and now I'm going to do another 3 in this space. So that's yarn over into that gap, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I do another 2, one chain, and now I'm going to do 3 in this space. And that's how it's looking. We're going to repeat that all the way around this circle until we get to this one. So I'll show you one more time, and then I will pause the video and catch up with you at the end of the round. But don't forget your 1 chain in between. I'm on my last one, my last cluster of 3. My 1 chain, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my 2 chain. And normally I don't do this, I usually end off and start up again, but it doesn't really notice a great deal with this particular yarn, and I'm just going to slip stitch along and get myself into this space. And I'm going to do 1 chain, but I don't really want it to be a tall chain. So now this round is a little bit different. In this particular, every single big space, we are going to do a treble 4 together, or that's a UK term. In the US, it's a double 4 together. So how we do that is yarn over into the loop or space, yarn over and pull up your loop. So you've got 3 on your hook, yarn over and pull through 2, but we don't complete it. Yarn over, back in, yarn over and pull up, yarn over and pull through 2. Got 3 on our hook. Yarn over, back in, yarn over and pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. If you can get it through 2, that is. 4 on the hook. One last time. So we're going in, this is our 4th time. And we pull through 2. And now we have 5 on our hook. We're going to yarn over, pull through all of them, do a chain to secure it, and then 1 chain for space. Now if you pull this over slightly, here's our first stitch, our second and our third. So we don't want to go into there, but we do want to go into the second one. But because this sometimes looks like that one's buried, it looks like the very next stitch. But if you pulled it across, you'll see. So we're going to do 1 UK treble, US double in there, and 1 chain. So we're only really doing 1 chain between because the other chain secures this stitch. So now we're in our big gap, we're going to do our treble 4 together or double 4 together. Just the same as before, through 2, leave 2 on the hook. 3 on the hook. 4 on the hook. 5 on the hook. Through all of them, chain to secure it, and our 1 chain. Pull this across and you'll see there's our first one. This is our second. We're going to go in there. So basically we are going into the center stitch of our 3 and our 1 chain, and that's our repeat. We're doing our 4 together and then 1 in the center of the 3, 4 together, 1 in the center of the 3. So when we do our 4 together, we're doing in effect 2 chain, and once we've done this 1 post, we're doing 1 chain, because like I said, that chain just secures all of these together, and then we've just really got the 1, so the gaps don't look any bigger. So again, here we go into there, our treble 4 together or double 4 together for the US, or across the pond, should I say. So there we are, we've got 5 on a hook, pull through all of them, secure it with the chain, and then our proper chain, and pull that over. There's our first stitch, there's our middle one. Whoops, I've got too much, got a little split there. And there's our treble and our 1 chain, and we're going to do it all over again. So that's our repeat. I know it's a little bit unusual, but we've got our treble 4 together cluster, and then our on its own, our cluster, then 1 on its own, our cluster, then 1 on its own. And just remember, after you've done your cluster, you do a chain to secure it, then you do your 1 chain. So I'm going to repeat that all the way around, and I shall catch up with you. Remember, our last one is going to be the one in the center of here, and don't forget the chain. And I'll come back to you when I get to this point. Okay, so I've done my last one, I've got my chain, so I'm just going to now slip stitch into this one and secure it. And I'll just do a chain, only a small one, as I say, I don't want it to look like a stitch. So in each one of our spaces, we're going to do 3 UK double crochets, that's single crochets in the US. So it's just 1, 2, 3. Straight to the next one. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's as simple as that. We're now doing this little bit here. It just gives you a firmer ring. So carry on all the way round, doing 3 in each of those spaces, and I'll pick up with you again once we get to this end. Okay, so I've made it all the way around. Just all we have to do now is to slip stitch into the first stitch, which is 1, 2, 3 there. Okay, now in every one of the spaces, you can't really see spaces, but there is a kind of a space between each of our clusters we are going to work. So I'm going to do 2 chain and another UK treble, so that acts as 2, 1 chain, and in the same space another 2. So this is our corner. A corner will be 2 UK trebles, 1 chain, 2 UK treble. So that's obviously US doubles. So now, just bear with me, I'm going to, sorry about that. Okay, so now we're going to chain 2, and in each of these gaps after the 3, we're going to do a UK double crochet or a US single. Chain 2, go to the next one, so you can see the space just between. It's not a chain space or anything. We're going to do that 5 times. So there's 1, 2, 3, 2 chain, 4, 2 chain, 5. So in the next one, do our 2 chain, need to pull some yarn. The next one will be our corner. So there we are, there's our 3, there's our space. We're going to make our corner, which is 2 UK trebles or US doubles, 1 chain, and 2 again, they go in the same space. No, there we go. And now we're going to chain 2, and we're going to go in between again and do our UK double US single 5 times. 1, whoops, split a little bit, 2, 3, pull some more yarn, need to pull a bit more I think, so that's 3, that's 4, and in the next space, and 5. 2 chain. In the next one, between these 2, will be our corner. I agree that it is difficult to see in between those spaces, but when you're looking right at it, all you've got to find is that kind of space there between the 2 sets of 3. You can see it quite clearly. Just going to pull out some yarn. Pull a little bit more this time. That's it. So what we're doing now is we're making these corners. We're turning our round into a square. So we're going to do the same along this end, this edge, should I say. 2 chain. Find that space between the 2. 2 chain. Find that space. There's the 3. There's the 3. There's the space. Let's do that 5 times. I think that was 4, wasn't it? Yeah. And 2 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. And then the next one is our corner, just like before. And then once I've done this corner, I'm just going to pause the video and carry on until I get to the next side. But I just want to show you, this is what it's looking like. You can see that it's now forming into a square. And It's not perfect because it still curves a little bit at these edges, but the next few rounds will kind of iron that little out. So I'm just going to pause it now and complete this and come back to you. Okay, so I've made it all the way back, so just need to slip stitch into my second chain, and you can either go through those 2 loops or you can just slip stitch in. I'll do that for now. With my other one I went through the other so, you know, I made sure that I went through the right 2 loops, but it's easier when there's not a camera in between. So now we're going to do 2 chain to act as our first UK treble, and then in the next stitch we're going to do another one. So we've got 2. Now we're at the corner, and we'll do our corner exactly the same, 2 treble, 1 chain, 2 treble crochet. And now in these 2 we're going to do just the same as we did before the corner. We had 2. We need to pull it aside, otherwise you won't get it in. 1, 2. And this is where things get a little bit different, and it's not until you've done them a couple of times you start to see a pattern. So in this particular hole here, we're going to do 1 treble crochet. That's a UK treble, US double. And then the next one is going to be a half treble or a half double. We're starting to make our stitches shorter. And then into this post we're going to do another half treble, half double. So we're kind of evening out our corner. Now we're going in the next part to do 2 UK doubles in each of these spaces. So that's a US single. So 1 and 2, and then oops, nearly lost my stitch. Do that one again. Until we get back to this part. So then we've got this next one is still 2 doubles, and then in this stitch here it becomes a half treble. Now in this hole it's exactly the same as back here, so that's 1 half treble, then the treble, so it's half double and then the double. And then in these 2 stitches we're coming up to our corner again. We just do 1 UK treble in each, just as we did back there, and you can see it's starting to pull it into more of a square. So in these, have I done my corner? No, just about to do the corner. Talk and distract myself. So we're going to complete the corner just as usual. And we're going to repeat that side. So we're going to pull this aside, find our stitch, and we're going to do the next 2. I'm going to follow the ones underneath and do those. Now we've come to our first space. The first one is a UK treble, then a UK half treble. So that obviously is a double and a half double. We're going to do a half treble into there. And now in these stitches here, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're just going to do 2 UK double crochets or US singles all the way along. Now in some, if you can, I think as well, when in this one I did go into these double crochets beneath as well, but I feel it made too many stitches, so I've just been going into the spaces, and I think it looks so much better and less puckered. So now we're back at this point. We're going to do our half treble, which is half double in that post, and in this space we're going to reverse what was over this side, so the half treble first, then our treble crochet, and then our 2 for the previous row's corner. So you can see the pattern forming. As I said, with this one, I just feel there was a little bit too many stitches here up the top part in the end. It's still a square, it's still perfect, but it just filled out a little bit too much in this point here. So I decided not to go into those posts on the double crochets, just to put 2 in the spaces. So now I'm at the corner, and I'm going to do that exactly the same way as before in my corner. Then I'm going to start my sequence all over again. And I agree, it is a little bit of a tricky sequence, you know, but it always will be the same, where you start with the first of this space. You'll start with 1 treble, 1 half treble, which is obviously double, half double, and then in that post the half treble, and then those doubles for the next 4 spaces. You get to the space before the corner and you start again with the half treble and the treble. So you get half a treble in the post, half treble and a treble, or half double and a double, and then you start building up to your corner again and going all the way back down this side. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to carry on in this vein until I get back to the start. But I hope that makes sense to you. I just thought that I would change it a little bit with this one, because as I said, the circle is fine and flat, but once you get to this part it just feels like there's a little bit too many stitches, so I'm hoping that evens it out just enough. Okay, so I've made it all the way round, and that to me looks much flatter and more stable. So I'm going to just slip stitch into my first treble, because obviously I ended with my half treble and treble, and I'm just going to slip stitch. It won't let me do that. Doesn't like it when there's a camera in the way. So this particular round is probably the easiest. We're going to do 2 chain to act as our first treble, and then we're going to do 1 UK treble, US double in every single stitch along until we get to the corner. And how we're going to do the corner now is slightly different. We're going to do our 2 as before, but we're now going to do, I'm just going to pull some yarn for this because it's a long round really. So now we're going to do a UK double treble or a US treble. So we're going to yarn round twice, go into the same space and pull up a loop. We're going to pull through 2, we're going to pull through 2, we're going to pull through 2. Instead of having a chain, we now have the long stitch. So we're going to finish our corner with our 2 triple crochets as normal, or obviously US doubles. So now we've got a solid corner. Going to pull that aside and get our first stitch, otherwise we'll miss it completely, and do 1 in every single stitch all the way along. Whoops. It's just completely all the way down the side 1 UK treble or US double in every single stitch, regardless of what stitch it was underneath. Probably the easiest round of them all. I'm going to carry on and stay with you until the next corner, because I just want to make sure that you've got the corner. It's a bit tedious watching me go from one end to the other, I know. Nearly there. Whoops. Would be if I didn't fall out. Not far to go now. Okay, nearly there. Yarn's getting a little tight again. One more. Back at the corner. So whereas, just put in some yarn, whereas our corner used to be 2 UK treble, 1 chain, 2 UK treble, we now don't want the chain, but we still want the same amount of stitches. So we're going to do the UK treble, which is a double in the US, obviously. We do those 2, and now we're going to do this longer stitch, which in the UK is a double treble, but in the US is actually a treble. So it's yarn around the hook twice, into the space, yarn around and pull up. So we have 4 on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that would have been our chain. Now we're going to complete the corner with our 2 UK trebles or US doubles. That's our corner complete. Pull it aside, and it shows you our first stitch of this side. And now we're going to go all the way along again, doing 1 in every single stitch until we get to the corner. So I'll just pop that out, and that's how it's looking. Far less congested than this one. So that's worked out just right. So I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to work my way round, and I'll meet up with you when I get to this point. I've made it all the way around, and now all I have to do is to slip stitch into that first stitch, which allowed me to do it the right way for a change, and then end off. I cut my yarn, and how I end off is always do a chain, cinch it right down, pull it through. So that is completed. And so if you preferred it this way, then all you have to do is that on those this row here, when you're doing your 2 UK doubles into these spaces, just do a double into the posts. But I found it just made it a little bit too much. I think I prefer it like this. Much prefer it like this. I like things that are square without even trying to be square. So as this one we worked in and snipped off, the beauty of doing it in one colour is that this is the only end that needs to be sewn in, and it's finished. But I like the corner. I like doing that extra sort of double treble in the UK or treble crochet in the US, just to make that a nice solid corner. And I think they'll like that. It's pretty. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. And as I said, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.